Frontier has just released the second dev diary for the Odyssey update, and I have so many questions. So let's go through the video together, and we'll talk about what we can deduct from the video and what we still need answered. Today's video is brought to you by GameGlass. GameGlass allows you to take control of your ship from a tablet or phone. Not only that, but you also get on-screen information about your ship, your targets, and the world around you. So gone are the days where you have no more room for your key bindings, or you have to alt-tab out of the game to look up market data. On top of that, GameGlass also works with Star Citizens, so follow the link in the video description and try GameGlass for free. If you like it and want more shards and features, you can buy them individually, or you can subscribe to GlassPass. Use offer code DTEA on checkout and get 5% off your first purchase. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous with Untitled Astronomy. So many of you will probably have seen that the second dev diary is out, and I just want to go through the video. We're going to watch it together, and I'm going to pause it along the way. We're going to talk about both what we see, what are some of the things that we don't see, some of the things that I would really like answered. Here we go. Wonderful shot, love that. Asteroid station, if you didn't notice. Road to Odyssey.
So what's really unique about Odyssey in the Elite Dangerous universe is that for the very first time we're going to allow people to set foot on the planets and in spaceports and
okay, just going to pause here. First of all, we saw a little shot of a settlement. We're going to see more of those later in the video. So far I really like what they've been doing with the looks and the feel of them. If we just quickly jump back actually to the one we just saw here, there it is. You can see Astra's Hope 2. I'm wondering if this means that places like Dav's Hope is going to be transformed into settlements like this. And if that is the case, well, we will still be able to collect materials from Dav's Hope, because would there still just be stuff lying around everywhere that you can just go freely pick up?
On the planets and in spaceports and explore the world in this new perspective.
We've tried to maintain what we felt was a core part of Elite, which is freedom of choice.
And we really embraced that with Odyssey and have transposed all of those careers back down onto an on-foot
nice,
experience.
I like that.
So when you're picking your base suit in Odyssey, you're really...
Okay, pausing there. Base suit. That raises so many questions. First of all, he says picking your base suit. I don't hope that it's going to be like you have one choice and then that is the base suit, but it is like a class. I hope that this is going to be something you can change as you go along. Little bit like ships, so it'll be equivalent to say, well, you pick your ship. Well, yes, we can swap between different ships for different tasks, and I hope we can also swap between different base suits. I'm assuming that is the case, but it's not stated clearly, so I just wanted to highlight that. Also, the fact that they call it base suit indicates that they're going to be upgradable. How that's going to work, of course, no idea. We really want that. I really want that that answered, because is this going to be like modules you slot in that then change the stats of the suit? Is it going to be like engineering? Is it going to be, I mean, I don't know, but there are lots of options for how that could work. It could just be like, okay, you have your base, like a base armor suit, then you can maybe put like a tool belt on. You could have different helmets that has maybe different armor values, or you could put different armor plates on, and you could put a rucksack on or something like that. I don't know. Lots and lots of options here, and I really hope that we're going to see more of that in the future, so we get an idea about how that whole system's going to work. I think it could be awesome if we could do suit builds just as we do ship builds today. So you could basically say, I'm going to build a suit dedicated to mining or combat or exploration or whatever you want to do.
Really picking it based on the career and activities that you want to undertake. Each of the suits has its own strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly.
So for instance, there'll be a suit that skews towards exploration, a suit that skews towards
that looks
combat,
awesome, by the way.
a suit which you might want to wear if you were to go scavenging, hunting through wrecks to find bits of equipment that might be useful to you.
Odyssey will provide...
I just, like the whole, I never actually thought about that, but the scavenging part of it, that makes perfect sense. That you go out, you find a crashed ship, you scavenge through it, collect materials. We don't really have salvaging per se in Elite as it is to now. It's kind of part of combat, like when you shoot ships, they drop materials you can collect.
By players with a clear choice. They're free to take missions.
Okay, here we get a good look at that sign that we saw earlier on in the video. The Apex Interstellar Transport, they're going to come back to that later in the video. That is awesome. That is probably the biggest game changer in Odyssey as I see it. This is going to completely change the game. The lounge, I think we're seeing some shots from that later on. And my theory is that the launch subscripted pilot bar is like a social hub where you go and you meet other players. So how that whole multiplayer aspect of it work is also something I hope we can dive into in the future. Pioneer supplies, plenty of shots coming up for that. That's basically like a store where you buy weapons and consumable equipment, all that kind of stuff. Frontline Solutions, not sure where that is. They do show a shot of it later. We'll pause when we get to that, but I don't know what it is. And then we have an Inter Astra. Don't really know what that is. But maybe that's some kind of like part of the upgrade part of the suit. I don't know. That's the only thing that I haven't really covered. Maybe it's the mission boards. But then there's one that got me quite excited, and that is the Vista Genomics, I think. That's quite awesome. Are we talking like cybernetic implants here? That would be awesome if we could get cybernetic implants for our characters. That could also be a way to basically upgrade your character by putting different cybernetics in. But again, if we have cybernetics, what's going to happen? I mean, you're not just going to go out and rip out your eye socket and replace it, unless you guys have a default socket installed in your skull that you can just like unplug one eye and plug another one in, depending on what you want to do. I don't know, but I like the idea, and I hope we're going to see more of that and get some answers to that.
Either from mission boards or mission givers, or players can go out and explore.
So we allow the player to disembark at outposts, planet ports, spaceports. So all of these are great places to find work and undertake missions, but also now you can go to our new settlements, which are a kind of more Dust Bowl.
Okay, so he does mention that we can see Astro's Hope, that these are new settlements, so they don't specifically say what's going to happen at the existing settlements. There seems like maybe there's going to be settlements that you can't go into and settlements that you can.
Wild West towns that you'd found on the edges of civilization.
When you find these settlements, I think you'll want to travel into them and see what the lay of the land is, see what options and opportunities they offer, and decide which way you're going to play.
With Odyssey, for the first time, we'll have fully modelled and fully animated characters appearing in game, and they will feel part of the universe and extend the narrative that's there.
They will be moving through these spaces. You'll be able to interact with them.
Oh, there we get the first shot of both the Apex Interstellar Travel, which is like a transport agency, and we get a good look at the Pioneer Supply Shop, and we can look inside now. We can see weapons hanging on the wall, and there's like other equipment there to the left of the counter, like boxes and crates there in the front. We get a better shot inside the store later, but basically, yeah, like a general store that sells, well, weapons and everything else, it seems.
Some of them will speak to you, so we've had to work on getting those performances right.
It's a whole new way of exploring the game. You'll hear the settlement, how alive it is. You'll hear announcers.
So there you have the shot inside the Pioneer Supplier. There's going to be plenty more of those.
Go into buildings and the soundscape changes. It's the very first time that you're experiencing the sound of Elite Dangerous, not inside a ship or inside a little vehicle, but inside a body.
Meeting people who you can relate to in places is the way you can feel grounded in this quite fantastical universe. And there's going to be a lot of players transferring from the main game who have never experienced this before, but will understand how it feels to be in that universe.
All of the NPCs that you encounter in Odyssey are all generated as part of the background sim. So if I go to a port...
Oh, two things here now. First of all, Frontline Solutions. I talked about earlier that we didn't really get any... I didn't really know what it was, but we kind of get a counter here. We can see there's a system map up. So it seems like maybe it's like a mission counter. That's... I mean, they did say there were both mission givers and the mission board. So it seems like there are at least two different ways you can pick up missions. I don't know if Frontline Solutions has something to do with that. Maybe it's like basically go and be guns for hire. Something like, I don't know. But I would love to hear what you think Frontline Solutions is going to be in the comment section. The other thing that I mentioned was that the NPCs are tied into the background simulation. That is awesome. Now, the way I think this is going to work is if you have a system, let's say that that's owned by a Empire faction, for instance, then you can go into a station that maybe there will be like Empire banners here and there, and then maybe the system's then flipped over and taken over by either independent or federal faction, and then some of the art style inside the stations might change. But I could also imagine that maybe the way the NPCs act and talk to you is going to change. I mean, if you have a system that is let's say it's corporate, maybe they're going to act to you in a very like, hey, they're always going to like upsell you everything. Or maybe if it's Go Anarchy, they're going to be a lot more rough with the way they talk to you. I don't know.
Or a settlement, the NPCs that I'm going to find there will be affiliated with the faction that owns that settlement. So we're driving some personality into our NPCs via the background sim connection, and I think that's an amazing addition.
Agreed.
One of our new features and new characters works for a corporation called Apex Interstellar.
That's one.
Players will be able to book journeys to and from ports within jump range. This gives a way for those players to actually move around the galaxy for a relatively cheap fee.
Okay, as I said in the beginning, Apex Interstellar Transporters or whatever is going to be such a massive game changer. First of all, and you can be in one station and you can book a journey to transport you to another station. Then you will be in another station. You don't have a spaceship. That means you need to take a transport back to a station where you have. But where you have ships, of course, if you want to go back out. That makes sense. Or I would assume you can also order a ship transfer just as you can today to get your ships over there if you want to. But again, the question is then, they say within jump range. Jump range of what? Does that mean that the Apex thing basically has like a fixed jump range you can go? What about like travel times? Are these gonna be instant? Are there gonna be like delays in between, a little bit like there's with fleet carriers? Do we have to wait? Because if it's just go up, pay your fee, you spawn, let's say 30 light years away, you could travel, I would assume, very quickly across the bubble. Now imagine I could go up to a counter, they said it was a small fee, pay a little bit of credits, and instantly get transported 20 light years. I will go up to the counter in that station and get transported 20 light years again, and again, and again, and again. It would probably add up to some cost. I don't know how long that's going to take, but I would probably be able to travel quite quickly across the bubble, depending on the jump range, depending on where you spawn. If you spawn right in front of the counter, it would be very quick. But I think this is an awesome idea, and as they're also going to talk about later on in the video, this pretty much opens up to the Elite being played completely without spaceships. You could do a completely on foot only character. Something I'm pretty sure I'll do just for the fun of it.
And experience gameplay away from the ports themselves.
So within the on-foot gameplay, the primary way of earning credits is to actually undertake missions and obviously complete them successfully. But you can also do some slightly more nefarious acts. Maybe you'll go to settlements and steal items and sell them onto the black market.
This is I think this is the bar. We saw like a shot of it just on the previous shot here. We just go back a little bit here. I think that is obviously a bar, but the reason why I think this is like a gathering hub is if you look at the size of it, that's quite a large amount of space that has been allocated to a bar, kind of indicating there's going to be a lot of players. The purpose of the bar, I would like to see or hear anything about what's the idea with it. Is it a gathering hub? Is it just for fun and games? Is this maybe like often the place you would go to pick up missions if you're doing some little, maybe not as official work, I don't know, stuff like that.
Market. Or you could become an explorer and collect samples from our new organic life.
With Odyssey, we've worked really hard to maintain player agency. We want players to have the choice about how they play Elite. If players want to continue in their ship gameplay, absolutely. If they want to engage in on-foot gameplay, perfect. If they want to do both, even better.
Hold on. Can we just go back here and see that space from the cockpit view again? Oh, right. So we can actually see it down here. I just want to see if we could see the outside of the building we're looking at. Those windows there, you can see them right here behind the little hologram there. The tall vertical windows.
Players want to continue in their ship gameplay, absolutely.
It's the same windows we see here, I think. It does look like from this view at least that you're not going to be able to fly over and like park your ship in front of it and look in through the windows. These doesn't look transparent. So I don't know if the station interiors, like the on-foot station interiors, is going to be loaded when you are in your ship. Because that doesn't look like I can look into the bar. That just looks like, assuming that is it. It looks like that's it. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's difficult to say, but looking from this view here, these are the same windows we see here. It looks like It looks like this is definitely the place. We can't see all 4 of them, but I'm pretty confident that is it.
And that really has always been at the heart of Elite. It's not the game we're telling you how to play, it's the game that you are creating your own story in.
Okay, here again, a little later we get another pretty good view of the station interior. Again, this is just one station. I would assume we have different art styles for different stations. And we also begin to kind of get a feeling for the size. It seems like this is going to be the main area within all the different shops out towards the sides. I would assume that's going to be the size of it. Maybe there's a hangar area somewhere behind. We haven't seen what's behind the camera right now, that area. So I don't know, but, well, at least I think this is the size we're going to be expecting to see the station interiors to be.
We're really looking forward to seeing how our players take that story forward and how they develop it.
So that was the second Dev Diary, and just as last time, I have so many questions I would love to have answered. I like the direction they're going, and especially like the Apex thing and the fact that the game seems to be completely playable on an on-foot side of it. And you might argue, well, why do you want a space sim where you're not going to fly spaceships? That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that the amount of gameplay, the amount of stuff they're adding is not just going to be an add-on to the existing game. Is almost going to be like a completely separate game they're going to merge into Elite. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section, and I hope we're going to get some answers from Frontier to some of the questions I've raised today. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give a like, subscribe, and until next time, I will see you guys in space.